Hey, curious kids, Kevin here. Today on A Place Called Space, we are talking about Earth Day. So Earth Day is tomorrow, April 22nd, and we are celebrating the 50th Earth Day. So for 50 years, we've been celebrating Earth. But why? What is Earth Day? Where does it come from? And why are we doing this in the first place? Well, Earth is a very special place. I mean, I'm here, you're here, we've got trees, we've got animals. It's the only place that we have found so far in our solar system that has life, or anywhere in our universe, actually. So Earth Day was created 50 years ago. Why? So the Apollo missions, right? You've heard of those. That's the missions we use this rocket, the Saturn V, to blast off and go and land on the moon. You gotta be very careful with that because it can fall and it can break, and that's a scary thing. It took a long time to build that. So we launched that spacecraft, landed on the moon, okay? 50 years ago, we landed on the moon. But a couple years before, Apollo 8 happened. What's Apollo 8? Well, what we wanted to test out was the spacecraft flying around the moon before actually landing on it. And they were able to take an amazing picture of Earth. So, you are the astronauts. I've got them back here. All right, you're my astronaut friend, okay? You are in this thing right here, okay? So this is you. I'm setting this down in front of you. So you're looking at me. You're the astronauts, okay? And you're out there at the moon, okay? Got to make sure I can see myself well so we can make this happen. So you're here. You're out. You're going at the moon. We got to make the moon super close so that we can see what's going on. And you're coming around the moon, and look, you start to see Earth coming up. That's what Earthrise is, because you know the sunrise is when we see the sun start to come up. So if you're the astronauts, and all of a sudden you're going around the moon, and well, there's Earth rising out from behind the moon, and then they took a photo. They took this photo right here, and they called it Earthrise. All right? This photo right here is Earthrise. So we saw, there we go. Here's our moon. There's the Earth. It came up, and we're seeing the Earthrise. So Apollo 8 took this photo over 50 years ago, and they're like, wow. Like, every single person, except for the three of us that are in here, is on that little blue marble so far away. And it really put in perspective how important Earth is to all of us. They're like, we need to celebrate Earth. So then a couple years later, they decided to create Earth Day. And Earth Day is where we celebrate Earth and we talk about the environment. So the environment, us living here on Earth. I got my Earth poster back here. I'm going to bring it closer so you can see it. So NASA made this poster. So this is the Earth poster. It says your oasis. My head's blocked. Your oasis in space. It's a really cool Earth poster. So we'll put that back. Now, we're celebrating Earth because we're like, you know what? It's important. So every April 22nd, today is April 21st, if you're watching live, April 21st. So tomorrow, April 22nd, is Earth Day. So every single April 22nd, each year, no matter what day it falls on, we celebrate our home planet here, Earth. And we like to demonstrate our support for environmental issues. And there's more than 193 countries that are involved in helping celebrate Earth. So celebrating Earth, like, what do we do? Well, you know, we need to take care of our home planet. Like, has your mom ever told you you got to clean your room? Because like you live in your room, you got clothes all over the place. Maybe you got some food, maybe some wrappers from all the snacks you've been eating during quarantine that you're sneaking from the fridge or the cupboard. Don't do that. Don't sneak snacks into your room. That's not good. I did that when I was little and I got in trouble. So don't be sneaking snacks. But you need to clean up your room because it's your home. It's where you live. Otherwise, it gets too dirty and it's not nice to live in there. So Earth. Earth can get dirty. Earth is dirty. And that's the environment. So we're making the environment, I want to show you some land. We're making the environment dirty. So the environmental issues is how do we keep Earth from getting more dirty? How do we make it clean? There's a lot of things happening. So a lot of places actually celebrate Earth Day all week long. So it's a whole week of activities dedicated to Earth. Now, the big things that we like to talk about, you may have heard these words. If not, it's the first time you hear about them. climate change. So climate change means, on a whole, the climate of Earth is changing. It's getting worse, more extreme. We have more extreme storms. So if you're in the snow, you get like more snow, crazy blizzards. It gets super cold. You get more tornadoes, worse hurricanes, lots of wind. It's just a lot more extreme than what we're used to because we're doing stuff that's making the environment not like us so much. It's reacting to all the crazy things we're putting into it. Like water, right? We like clean water. We've got water. Clean water means we can drink it, right? It's safe to drink. It's good. We need clean land. Clean land, otherwise it gets dirty, like throwing trash or litter. So if you have ever eaten candy, you got these wrappers. I got Starburst. Got some wrappers. Sometimes people throw wrappers on the ground. Don't do that. We got to pick that up, clean our land, clean in the air. Take a deep breath with me. Air, clean, breathable air. Because if you've ever been in the kitchen when it's getting too hot, maybe it's smoky, or you can smell the exhaust from a car or a motorcycle or the lawnmower. That's dirty stuff that's going that doesn't breathe well. Like right now, so since we're on quarantine, like a lot of people aren't leaving their homes, which is a good thing. That's less cars going around, and cars have exhaust. That's the tailpipe that shoots stuff out of to make it go. That goes all up in our air and makes it kind of dirty, and it's harder to breathe. Well, right now with all those cars not going, it's a lot easier to breathe outside. The air is cleaner. So that's a good thing. It's cleaner air. So we use spacecrafts. Spacecrafts. Remember our spacecrafts here? Let's take Earthrise away for a moment. We can bring them back if we want later. So we have spacecrafts that are orbiting Earth, looking down. One of them, you know this one is right, International Space Station, ISS. They've got science instruments and devices looking at Earth to try and help us understand and study what we're doing to our environment. Like how are we making the land dirty? How are we making the water dirty? How are we making the air dirty? So all these little spacecrafts are flying around trying to figure that out. They detect bad chemicals that are in the air. Bad chemicals that are in the air, that are on the ground, that are in the water. Where are these chemicals coming from? Can we stop it? How do we change that? How do we make Earth better? One of the chemicals, I wrote down some big science words for you. So one of the things that we're doing is we need to be careful of this thing called greenhouse gases. Have you ever heard of greenhouse gases or a greenhouse? Greenhouse, right? It's that little like hut or igloo thing. It's a fort that you have a bunch of plants in, and it's like really humid and sticky. It's hot. So humid is like water in the air, so it feels like all sticky and you get sweaty. So that's greenhouse. Greenhouse gases are special types of chemicals that are in the atmosphere. So in the atmosphere, in the air. Some of them are natural, like some of them are okay, right? But if we have too much of anything, that's bad. So we're having too many of our greenhouse gases. So here come the big science words. I wrote them down for you. You don't have to remember these all. I just want you to hear the word. So these are some of the greenhouse gases that we're concerned about. You may have heard of this first one. So CO2 is carbon dioxide. We're releasing a lot of that into our atmosphere. That's not good. Oh, I'm dropping it. CH4, methane. So C is carbon. It's an element. It's what we're made out of, right? Carbon-based life forms. Our skin, your skin, most of our things, diamonds, they're made out of carbon. That's O is oxygen, but when you combine them, carbon and this 2 means 2 oxygens. Carbon dioxide, that's how you make that. And we have a carbon with, this is an H for hydrogen. There's 4 of them. So that's methane. You might know of methane. Have you ever passed gas or farted? That's methane. So when you fart, it's methane. N2O is nitrous oxide, and then HFC is hydrofluorocarbons. Big words. I just wanted to show you. So these are some of the things we're looking out for with our spacecrafts. When they're orbiting Earth looking down, these are the big science words that we're trying to study and understand. How much are we doing? Where are they coming from? And what happens? Because bad things can happen, right? So I got some water here. I'm going to demonstrate a little bit. So water, good water, right? I can drink it. It's good. It's clean water. But if we're starting to put a lot of chemicals in our water, I got some bad chemicals here, right? it can make the water dirty. So it might not look that dirty, right? Because the chemicals were like clean, or there's not as many chemicals to take over the color of the water, but it's still there. So now that's dirty water. And we've got our friends. You know what these are? We got our fishy friends, right? So we got fish friends that are living in that water, but now the water's dirty. Uh-oh. Look. They're not moving. They're not swimming around. When we put too many bad chemicals into the water or into the air that then goes into the water, it hurts our fish. So we need to help protect our fish by not putting as many bad things into our water. Because we want our fish to swim around, to be happy, to have little fish babies going around. Lots of fish running and jumping everywhere. But when we make dirty water with all these crazy chemicals, that's not good. So you do not drink this. I'm gonna go dump this out just to make sure nobody confuses my dirty water. My sink's right there, super quick. So there's a lot of these bad things that we're doing to Earth that we need to try and not do as much. So at the end, I'm going to tell you what you can do to help that out. But first, we need to learn a little bit more about our home planet here on Earth. There's so many cool things to tell you about Earth. So one of them, I got my little string, right? Earth spins, and that's what gives us daytime and nighttime, right? So if I got my sun, here's my sun. So if the sun's on this side, right, it's daytime, and on the other side, it's nighttime. Spinning around, spinning around. So how long is a day, right? What does your clock say? How many hours are in the day to make it go around? 24 hours in one day, right? Kinda. It's close. It's actually 23 hours and 56 minutes. Did you know that? Yeah. So it's actually not that long, but it's close. So we round it up like that. Now, how long does it take for the Earth to go around the sun once? How old are you? 8, 9, 10, 13, 30? I went around the sun 30 times because in 1 year, that's how long it takes for the Earth to go around the sun. Right? 365 days? You've heard of that? Almost. It's 365 and a quarter days. So one more quarter of a day is how long it takes for the Earth to go all the way around the sun. Now, that's where leap year comes from. You ever heard of that? In February, we add one more day to our calendar over here, and that's to make up for the leap year. So we have a leap year every once in a while. Now, what else? What else? Earth. So, this will be fun. So I've been spinning it like this, right? So you can see I got a string on the top, right on the top, and the poles, right? So it's kind of like it's spinning like this, straight up and down, but it's not. It's not straight up and down. Okay, I got a stick, I got earth, I got tape. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take earth, we're gonna tape it to the stick. Watch. I'll tell you in a second. Oh, I missed it. There we go. All right, stick. Tape. I got tape. Okay, okay. Stick. So put my stick here, straight up and down. By straight up and down, right? So the stick is straight up and down, just like if I was to hold it like this, see? So stick, it's a little lopsided because it's bent. But if it's straight up and down like this, right? So this is how we see like Earth spinning. But it's not spinning straight up and down like this. As it's going around the sun, it's actually tilted. So it is tilted at 23.5 degrees. So it actually spins like this as it goes around the sun. Well, what does that do? What does that do to us? I've got to get another friend that I left over here to help us learn about that. You know my friend Mr. Flashlight, right? Yeah, we've used Mr. Flashlight a lot. So let's see. Earth is tilted like this, a little bit, right? So if the sun is right here, so you can see the sun on it, right? As it's spinning, some of the places get more sun than the other. So it's kind of hard to show a little bit like this. But if we're showing the sun on the bottom, what's happening on the top? So that's the difference between winter and summer. trying to do this with a flashlight and the inflatable Earth here. But the point is, what I'm trying to say is Earth is tilted. So we got our tilt. 23.5 degrees is going around. And that's what causes us to have seasons. So because it's tilted, we have different seasons because the sunlight is spread out. Kevin, what do you mean the sunlight is spread out? Well, where'd my paper go? Paper. There it is. Sunlight is spread out. So, if we're tilted, so we're straight on, right? I need to be able to see that. There we go. So you see how it's a circle? Because it's straight on? Well, if we tilt it, look, oh, you see that? Look, it's not a circle anymore. It's an oval. It's longer. So that means the same sunlight is now spread out over a bigger area. So what that means is that it's not as hot, right? It gets a little cooler. And because of that, that means winter or fall, it gets cooler. And then winter, it gets colder. And then we come back and it's summer. See, it's a circle. And then we go into winter. And then we come back to summer. And then winter. So winter is when the sunlight is spread out further around because Earth is tilted. Just like this. Instead of straight up, it's tilted as it goes around the sun. This is fun. I like putting stuff together. If you like me putting stuff together, hit that thumbs up. Did you like it? We can do more experiments. Stuff like that. So, one more thing. Let me take this off. Get our Earth back. So Earth is in our solar system. The sun. Everyone give your sun a big hug. So, Earth, how far is it away from the sun? 93 million miles. It's a very long distance. If you're traveling at the speed of light, the fastest thing ever, like when you turn on the light switch, light goes on, it would take you 8 minutes to go from the sun all the way to Earth. It's a long ways away. The last thing, the sun sends stuff over to Earth. So the sun here, these are sunspots, right? There's stuff coming out of the sun. So I've got, tell me if you like these. You see what these are? These are starburst. So think of all of these starbursts that are coming out of the sun as like little particles, right? That are shooting off of the sun and headed over to us here on Earth. So we got some of these. They're headed over to us here on Earth, but we have something to help us from all these crazy particles. We got a shield. You know where the shield comes from? Captain America, that's right. So Earth has something called a magnetic field, and that magnetic field acts as a shield against those solar particles coming out, which Earth is safe because it was behind the shield. So the magnetic field is a shield that protects Earth from all the crazy stuff coming out from the sun. What does it have to do with Earth Day? Well, that magnetic field helps us save our environment too, right? It keeps our atmosphere down here on Earth. Well, if we're ruining the atmosphere, that's not very good, right? We want to keep our atmosphere strong because that also helps protect us from stuff coming from the sun. Earth. Let's take a second. Let's look at Earth. I'm going to bring Earthrise back here. So the reason that we celebrate Earth is because Earthrise right here to protect our planet from all the bad things we're doing, putting, chemicals into the air, into the water, into the land. So all of these things, right? But what can we do? What can you do? Me and you, what can we do to help Earth, to help protect the environment? What are some things that you can do? I'm going to show you some things that I do to help out. So one of the things I do is recycle. Have you heard of that word? So if you've got like metal, like from cans or glass bottles or paper, you can recycle this paper. So that means you don't put it in the trash. You put it in a separate bin that then gets reused. So they can reuse these. They break them down. They maybe melt the glass, melt the metal, and then make it into new metal, new glass. That's one thing we can do. We can recycle. The other thing, if you're not using things like maybe a light in your bedroom, if you're not in your bedroom anymore, just go ahead and turn that off. Turn the light off when you're not using it. But if you are using it, like me, you can turn it back on. And that's okay. Now, what else can you turn off? If you're washing your hands or brushing your teeth, you don't have to have the water running the whole time. So if we're washing hands, right, you get them wet, lather it up, you could actually turn that water off while you're scrub-a-dub-dubbing, keep it all nice and safe for those 20 seconds, and then turn the water back on, and then wash your hands. Now, if you're brushing your teeth, you don't have to have the water run. You can turn that off. So we save our water. That's another thing we can do. So we turn off lights, turn off water, we recycle, and we can try and not use single-use items. What does that mean? Well, have you ever bought a water bottle? It's just a plastic water bottle, and then you throw it away or you recycle it? I use this. This is glass. And I use it over and over again. I just clean it. So that means I get to reuse it and not throw it away. That helps. Hit the microphone. What else? I got a whole bag here of what I do. Now, do you know how to do laundry? Probably not. Maybe you've helped your mom. Maybe you've seen your mom or your dad or your brother and your sister use these. What's this? It's a dryer sheet. So these are things you can put in the dryer. They're made out of maybe like plastic or something, right? And they're like threads and there's stuff on it. I don't use these. I borrowed this from my neighbor because she uses it. What I use, and what you can tell your parents to get some, are these. So these are called dryer balls. So they do the same thing. They help keep your clothes light and fluffy. Let's try the juggling again. If you're here for the Meteor episode, you saw that. I use these. Can reuse them over and over again, and we don't have to throw them away. Perfect. What else? So I have this bag. When I go grocery shopping, me and my fiance, when we go grocery shopping, we use a bunch of these. We've got like 10 of them to put our groceries in, right? Instead of the paper bags or the plastic bags that they give us at the store. So you could buy some of these and reuse the bags. The other thing we have are these inside of there. What are these, Kevin? Well, these are produce bags. These are in the fridge, so I had to go over to the fridge. So these are Brussels sprouts. They're actually really good. All right, you can make them a certain way. They taste delicious. They're how I grew up big and strong and became a smart NASA rocket scientist. So eat your Brussels sprouts. At the grocery store, they have plastic bags for you to put in your vegetables, but we bought these, and then we can reuse them over and over again. So we go to the store with our reusable bags, put all of our food inside of it, and then we're not using those single-use plastic items. We're not just throwing it away when we're done. We use it over and over again. What else? Well, we talked about trash, right? We want to keep our land good. So this tape. Now this tape needs to be thrown away. But if I just drop it, I'm just like, I don't see the garbage, so I just put it on the floor. No, don't do that. Pick it up. Pick it up, throw it away. So you could pick up trash, you could pick up litter, and have a little bag that you put it in to throw it away when you get home. You could go to the park or just walk around your house and find things that aren't supposed to be there that should be in the trash or recycled. So that's something you can do. What else? What else? Cars. We talked about cars, right? Now, you're not old enough to drive. Probably not. But if you are, or if you want to, you can tell your parents or whoever drives you to carpool. What does that mean? Many people going in one car instead of taking multiple cars. Or you could take your bicycle. I've got a bicycle. It's out back, right through this door here. Sometimes I take that. Now, I have a car and it runs on gasoline. So gasoline, that's one of the things that causes our crazy greenhouse gases once they're burned and coming out of the car to go in the atmosphere. So I'm not perfect. I need a way to get around, but I did make a change. So I've got the car, but I bought a motorcycle. Yeah, I bought a motorcycle. And what that does is it helps me use smaller amounts of gas to go long distances. So I don't need as much gas, so I'm not putting as many bad things into the environment. I'm working on getting the electric car. It's one of the things that's going to come in the future. So got the motorcycle. We can reduce the amount of paper we use here. Reduce the amount of paper. You know, if you need to print something, I guess you can. I use these, and I try to use them over again. I got a whole stack so that when I need them again, I can do them again. But I also write on whiteboards or type in notes in my phone here, like that, instead of writing the paper But if you do use the paper, recycle it. And then the last one, what's this? This is meat. So actually, by eating less meat, this isn't real meat. I'll tell you why. By eating less meat, you can help save the environment. So to create meat, so from like cows, or if you're having burgers, or any type of meat, there's a lot of carbon dioxide and methane that goes into making the meat and coming from the cows. The cows fart a whole lot. That's a lot of methane. But then all of the factories, all the trucks that are moving all the meat around, all of the maintaining of the land, so you need to grow the corn to feed the cows, and then we kill the cows, we eat the cows. This is fake. This is not real meat. This is made from vegetables to make it look like meat and taste like meat, because I pretty much don't eat meat. I don't eat red meat. I maybe have chicken sometimes. If I do eat meat, it would be fish. So fish would be the thing that I eat more of, but I'm pretty much a vegetarian or a vegan, where I don't like to eat animal products. So by not eating meat or reducing your meat is something you could really help to help save the environment. You don't have to completely go away and be like, Mom, Dad, no more meat at all. I mean, that'd be great, but you could try meatless Mondays. So on Monday, don't eat meat, and just start with that and see how you feel and go forward. So Earth Day. All right, let's wrap it up. Earth Day, celebrated every April 22nd. This is the 50th year that we're celebrating it from Earthrise over here. What's up, buddy? To start discussing and supporting environmental issues to keep our clean water, clean land, and clean air. So some things you can do is recycle, right? Turn off things when you're not using them, walk more, use a bicycle, carpool, use reusable items like the glass, right? You can plant trees. You can put trees, plant them around. And lastly, the thing you can do to really help out is to tell other people. Tell other people to be conscious, so that means being aware, thinking about the environment when you're doing things. Try and carpool, use less single-use items, recycle, all of that. Tell other people that it's important to take care of Earth so that we can live here in clean air, water, and land. Okay? Awesome. If you like this video, please click the thumbs up. Say, yeah, Kevin, I liked it. It was cool. I learned a lot. Awesome. And if you're a fan of A Place Called Space, which I hope you are, that means you got to click this button down here. Right here. Or it's down here. It's over on this side. Subscribe. Click the subscribe button to let me know you're a fan, so I know how many of you are out there, so you can keep coming back and learning more about space things. All right, I'm going to see if there's some questions out there. Earth has a day. Does Mars have a Mars Day or Jupiter have a Jupiter Day? No, we don't have those. We kind of celebrate them when we land on them, but maybe we should have, I'll show you land, maybe we should have birthdays for all of the planets that are out there. Now, they all formed around the same time, like 4.5 billion years ago, but the days we found them, so we found them each on a different day, we could have a Found You Day and have a big celebration for Mars or Jupiter. So maybe I'll put something together and we can continue to celebrate all of the planets as well. That's good. Good question. 2 thumbs up. Good day. Awesome. So happy Earth Day. The official Earth Day is tomorrow, April 22nd. Thank you for tuning in to A Place Called Space. Remember, if you like it, click the thumbs up. Click that subscribe button below to let me know you're a fan. And as always, keep looking up.